All right, Shalom Israel. First and foremost, as always, I would like to give all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Chaha, Kwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And as always, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Now, this is going to be my very first time live streaming on this account. You know, spirit's been on me to start doing, being more productive, more active in different ways with this account, in which the Lord have sent down the Haracha Kwadash, the Holy Spirit, giving us the understanding to break down the dark mysteries for the sake of fishing for, edifying, and sealing the Lord's elect through the knowledge and understanding of the Holy Scriptures. Because these videos is only for the Lord's elect. We're not looking for all of Israel, and we damn sure are not looking for you people of the other nations. And the elect of the nation of Israel, they're all Israelites, which will be so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Indians. So today, I'm going to be hopping into news and prophecy. Okay, as you see right here, I am currently on RussiaToday.com. And what do we see right here? No state, we see various different, well, before I start reading these different articles here, we see different titles of articles here. That way I could just bring out multiple different news articles in a single video, live versus, doing them one by one, which, I still do that, especially if I need to if there's a news article that I need to do on the fly. I just put the title of the news article in the video and do it that way. So, the first article which we see here is no state or alliance has claimed to exceptionalism Putin. Okay, so, the whole point of these articles is to find the ones which pretty much everything that's happening around the world, it's because it's written in the Bible. And every action that is fulfilled here on this planet known as America is the result of prophecy that was written and spoken of first and foremost, which came from the word of Yahweh and was written by holy men that are of the elect in the Holy Scriptures. Holy men that are prophets, which are of the elect in the Holy Scriptures. Okay, so the prophets of Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai have received the visions, via through dreams, or rather if they fell deep into thought, and they writ them down in the Holy Scriptures. So remember, from all things obey the will of the Lord. So everything that we see happening on this planet It's the result of the word of Yahweh going forth, you know, the will of Yahweh, which is playing out here on earth. So if somebody's committing adultery, well, the scripture said that you will have your adulterers. If a woman is being a hoe, a harlot, a slut, well, the word of Yahweh, which is Yahweh Shai, said those things would happen. If somebody's being a mo, the word of Yahweh said that there will be mo's, especially in these last days. Okay, what do you think? Scriptures like as in the days of Noah were, so shall also be in the coming of the Son of Man. Okay, what was going on during the time of Noah? Acts of rebellion, wickedness, iniquity. The same thing we see happening today. People being kidnapped, tortured, murdered. Okay, but anyways, what we see happening here concerning news and events which are happening around the world, these are all the results of prophecy. So when you hear about, situations happening between kingdoms, well, Yahweh Shai said these things will happen. In Matthews 24:7, nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom. It's also mentioned in Luke the 21st chapter. When you hear about famines, know that famine is spoken of in the Holy Scriptures. Okay? See, Russia will try to prevent global conflict. And we know that is simply not going to happen because according to biblical prophecy, right? As a matter of fact, let's go to Ezekiel real quick. Okay? Ezekiel 38. And I'll just start at verse 1, right? And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. Now we know that Gog and Magog is talking about Russia. Okay, Meshach and Tubal is Turkey, and prophesy against them. So we were set up to prophesy against Gog and Magog because Gog and Magog, which was originally ruled by Japhetic people, is now being those lands are being ruled by Edomites who are calling themselves Russians. Okay, and we are to prophesy against them, right? And to say, Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. The chief prince, you know, which I'm not really going to get too much into, but ultimately Russia has control over those regions of Meshach and Tubal. Ultimately, okay, it says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws. And what does the Lord mean by that? It means the Lord is going to turn Russia away from being a country that is at peace with the West, which we know to be America, right? The Lord said, I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sort of armor, with a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, right? Then, of course, we got Persia, which are the Iranians, okay? Ethiopia, which, that's predominantly Ham, Hamitic people, what the world calls Africans, in Libya, predominantly Ham, which are the Africans, with them, okay, all of them with shield and helmet. So the point is that global conflict between Russia, NATO, the U.S., and the 1948ers, the small hatters, a conflict with them is inevitable. It's May 9th. Okay. U.S. interfering in India's internal affairs. Okay. And that's Elam right there, the East Indians. So we got the U.S. interfering with Elam affairs. Now we also got to be careful because remember, those Russians are Edomites, and Edomites are known for telling lies. Esau will literally lie on his own people just to one up him. So, you got to scrutinize everything. U.S. interfering with India's internal, which I mean, it's not really too hard to believe because right, if we go to Habakkuk, it tells you that these devils. Let's okay, Habakkuk, Salakia. I just want to see something real quick. And I probably didn't even get the mm, okay, so just checking the notification on my phone here. Okay. So let's go to Habakkuk real quick. In Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 5. Well, you know what? Let's start at 4. Let's start at 4. Habakkuk 2 and 4, right? Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. So the soul of these devils are not upright in them, you know? Yea. Also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Now your home is talking about your country, okay? So when you got troops sitting in another country somewhere, okay, when you got troops sitting in another country somewhere, what do you know? You're basically not in your own land. You're in somebody else's home, somebody else's country. So he neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, which hell's just talking about the earth, the grave, and is as death and cannot be satisfied. And this whole earth is no longer Idon, which is the Hebrew word for Eden is Idon, which means paradise. Okay, this earth was once paradise when Adam and Eve ruled it, but it's no longer paradise. Why? Job chapter 9, verse 24. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked. So when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And when you're in a state of mourning, you're not in paradise, you're in hell. Okay. So when the wicked, like it tells you in I don't need to get it, but in First Maccabees, the first chapter, it tells you that when Alexander's four generals put crowns upon themselves and bear rule in the earth, you know, his four generals, namely Cassander, Lysimachus, Ptolemy, and Seleucid, when they crowned themselves, declared themselves rulers, okay, evils were multiplied in the earth. So in Job 9, verse 24, when it tells you the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, okay, what do you think is going to happen to the whole planet when the wicked has full control over it? The whole earth is going to be hell. Okay, so he enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Okay, now one moment. Bear with me for one moment. Okay. So let's go back here. So when you hear about Edomites going into a land that does not belong to them and stirring up trouble there, that's because the wicked is in rulership. Okay? So let's continue scrolling through. Let's see, Biden accuser, Tara. Okay, nobody cares about that. So Biden admits Israel killed civilians with bombs. Hmm, let's check this out. Okay, the munitions have been used against population centers, the US president has said, and that's why we say, once a devil is always a devil. Okay. And shalom to all you brothers that are on the comment board. Yahweh Shem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham, you know, and shalom to you few sisters that hopeful elect sisters that are on the comment board. Okay. So let's see. Biden admits the small hatters killed civilians with US bombs. Huh. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, and there's a lot of things that happens behind the scenes that you don't hear about, you know. It's not being reported in the news, you know. You don't hear about it, but it's happening. So let's see, you know, the munitions have been used against population centers, the US president said, And there you go. Your boy Biden, one hand up like he's pleading the fifth, you know. But ain't none of these devils innocent, And that's why Yahushua said in John the 8th chapter, and I believe the 44th verse, he said that these Edomites were murderers from the beginning and about not in the truth. Okay, you over here bombing non-combatants, as you see right there. Non-combatants have been killed by U.S. made bombs during the Small Hatters or Amalek, because those people in the land of Israel, they're really Amalekites, which will be descendants of Esau. Okay. They are not Jewish. Okay. They are descendants of Esau. But it says during Amalek's war on Hamas in Gaza, U.S. President Joe Biden admitted in a CNN interview on Wednesday that basically non-combatants have been killed by U.S. made bombs. The U.S. leader warned that Washington would halt bomb shipments to West Jerusalem, which is bullshit. Okay. Can't believe anything these devils say. Okay. Its main ally in the Middle East, should Israel expand its offensive in the southern Gaza town of Rafah. Okay. It says civilians have been killed in Gaza as a consequence of those bombs and other ways in which they go after population centers, Biden told the news channel. Earlier, the U.S. had paused a shipment of more than 2,000 pound, which will be 900-kilogram bombs, slated for Amalek amid concerns of the use of the larger munitions in the overcrowded conditions of Rafah. So it says, we're not going to supply the weapons and artillery shells, the U.S. leader said, referring to them as the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah, to deal with the cities. So, I mean, I'm not going to read that whole article, but show you, you know, that's all these devils do is they go around killing, okay? Killing, stealing, murdering, because that's what these Edomites were created to do. Let's get John 10 verse 10 real quick, okay? The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. And yeah, when you destroy something, you break it down, okay? And that's what these devils do. They go to different countries, they destroy cities, they kill civilians, on under the guise of what? Fighting terrorism. So, let's see. And it's really a lot of these people they're killing are not terrorists, but really civilians. We also got to remember that the so-called elites have a agenda known as the New World Order, and a part of their New World Order is mass depopulation, drowning in debt, the paralysis at the heart of the U.S. fiscal crisis. Okay, it says Washington is doing nothing about its deteriorating finances, and the reason why they're doing nothing about the deteriorating finances is because really it's the so-called elites. They want to crash this financial system financially. Why? So that the CBDC, the central banking digital currency system, and the WEF, the World Economic Forum, can basically take over the financial system. And we know what happens when that happens. Okay? We know what happens when that happens. They're going to implement the RFID CHIP, okay, which is the mark of the the mark of the beast, basically. And that's what they want. They want to do away with cash. They want to do away with coins. They don't want people to deal with gold or silver, which they've already ceased when the first Federal Reserve was set up in the very early 1900s. I don't know if it was 1910, but Eustace Mullins spoke on it, how the first Federal Reserve was set up in order to cease the silver as well as the gold that people had, and to basically set up a fiat currency system where people will have to deal with IOUs, because that's exactly what your dollar is in your wallet. Your money in your wallet is just a IOU. These devils basically saying we owe you. And we know that these devils will never pay back the civilians whom they ripped off. This also explains, um, again, people would give their silver and their gold to these bankers in exchange for IOUs, which will be these Federal Reserve notes, right? And the only difference between the Federal Reserve note during the early 1900s and the Federal Reserve notes during now is that during the early 1900s, the Federal Reserve note was actually backed by gold and silver. Okay, they were known as greenbacks, which John F. Kennedy was assassinated over because he went into the U.S. Treasury, and I'm not going to get too much into that, but you know, the dollar used to actually have some weight to it because it was backed by gold and silver. But in the process of time, what did the so-called elites, which will be the Rothschilds and Rockefellers, do? They basically phased out the gold. They basically phased the gold and the silver out of the dollars, and basically just started, giving people Federal Reserve notes that was backed by nothing, which is where you get your interest-bearing currency from. Yeah, interest-bearing currency, which is a currency where people would be burdened under debt. Okay, so the interest-bearing currency was basically set up to put people in debt because people was not in debt when they was buying and selling with Federal Reserve notes that was backed by gold and silver. But you see, when they phased gold and silver out of the dollar, you know, people people started to accumulate debt, and thus this became a debt-bearing currency. That's why whenever you're born in this system, you're automatically born with with out of some for some people it's $300,000 in debt. You know, some people's $500,000 in debt. You're basically born a debt slave. And pretty much your dollar is worthless. It's backed by nothing. Okay. So the so-called elites, they don't want Washington to do anything about its deteriorating finances. Okay. Because they want to systematically crash this financial system. And the whole reason why they set up the first Federal Reserve, which was, I believe, was in 1910, the whole purpose of the Federal Reserve System being set up, it was basically ultimately to uh, um lead people into a financial system where they will have to receive a electronic device in their body in order to make payments. So you see, they already had it planned out from the beginning to crash the Federal Reserve. They had all of it planned out from the beginning. So while people was busy wowing and wooing over credit cards and being able to make payments online and electronically, the so-called elites were slowly mentally preparing their minds to, well, you could do it with a chip, which is the market of you know what. So it says it can appear puzzling why at certain times in history a government facing a looming crisis simply does not address it. The problems accumulate in plain view while little is done to actually solve them. The human imagination being what it is, this inaction is inevitably attributed, if I'm saying that correctly, to some mix of corruption and who do you think is in power, in rulership? Okay, the wicked, and the wicked is all about corruption. Okay, malfeasance and incompetence, and certainly the road to any system level crisis is strewn in missteps and short-sighted policies. But there comes a point when a horizon of possibility has closed, and there is simply nothing a government can do without unleashing forces that could easily overwhelm it, right? So again, Habakkuk, because this country is almost $40 trillion in debt. Okay, Habakkuk 2:6, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? Yeah, and these devils, they're always and constantly increasing in things that are not theirs. Okay? And you see that, okay? You see that when they go to these different countries, you know, if a country is not willing to give up their natural resources, such as the oil, gas, fossil fuels, okay, lithium, alkaline, which is why, we have alkaline batteries, you know, you know, alkaline, they're stealing alkaline from these other countries. They're stealing, gemstones. They're stealing gold, silver, precious metals, and there's other resources, REMs, which is an acronym for rare earth metals or rare earth minerals. They're pretty much robbing these countries and sucking them dry of their resources. And then setting up garrisons down there, setting up setting up basically oil mining stations down there. So if a country don't want to comply with giving up their resources to the US, then the US basically they go in there with violence. They come up with some lie or some excuse. Their leaders is releasing chemical weapons on their civilians and blah 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 blah. And right before you know it, now you got civil unrest going on in the country. You got people protesting. You got civil wars going on. And then you got the US that's basically secretly flying drones over the country and dropping bombs on them. And this is how this, devil operate. So woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. And how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. Now, of course, this word clay here goes back to the Hebrew word abatyat, which means heavy debts. But we're just going to look it up. Okay. No country on this planet ever in history has been in heavy debts like America has. Like, how the fuck are you $40 trillion in debt? Okay. And as you see right there, it's abatyat. Okay. Okay. And what do we see down here? Weight of pledges, heavy debts. Okay. Now the scriptures also speak about those that spoil us and was not spoiled. Let's get that real quick. Isaiah chapter 33, verse 1. Okay. It says, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they deal not treacherously with thee. And this especially happened to the northern tribe, okay? The so-called North American Indians, the Taino Indians, which will be the Puerto Ricans, okay? The Aztec Indians, okay, which will be the so-called Mexicans. Oh no, no, I believe the Mayans. The Mayans would be the so-called Mexicans. Okay, the Mayans, which will be the so-called Mexicans of the tribe of Issachar. Okay, the Puerto Ricans of the tribe of Ephraim will be the Taino Indians, even though they're really Ephraimites. They're not Puerto Ricans. Okay, then you got the Aztec Indians because you had some Guatemalans that used to live over here too. Okay, the Guatemalans, the Panamanians of the tribe of Zebulon, who were known as the Aztec Indians. Okay, they used to live over here too. But our people was a lot of our people was pushed out of their lands. Issachar was basically pushed down into Mexico, what the world calls Mexico. A lot of Guatemalans was pushed down into Mesoamerica, which Meso is just another word for middle, and then ultimately they got pushed down into South America. Okay? So, you know, this devil has never changed. And even to this very day, he's still going into other countries and spoiling, plundering, raping, robbing, murdering. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. And what confirms that? Let's go to Obadiah chapter 1, verse 7. Okay? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. This is speaking of treachery. Because, yeah, right now, the US, they have China as an ally still. Okay? They have South Korea as an ally still. They have NATO as an ally still. And there's other allies America have, such as Germany. You see? You know? But guess what? These countries are going to deal treacherously with America. They're going to turn on America one day and shoot nukes on this country. Where the 2/3, which will be here in America, and that's according to biblical prophecy. I'm not going to get too much into it, but the Lord said that we will come over here in ships. Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, okay? So the majority of Israel was brought over here to the Americas by slave ships, which will be known as Egypt. And in Revelation, right, it said their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city. Okay? Now we know that 2/3 of our people are in a dead state of mind. So it's not talking about actual dead bodies. It's talking about being spiritually dead. For as it is written, he that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. So 2/3 of our people are in a dead state of mind. Why? Because the Lord have blinded them, that they see not, that they hear not. Okay? So yeah, 2/3 of our people would be here in America, which spiritually is known as Sodom and Egypt, which this place is also called Egypt in Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. Okay. But it says, okay, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. Okay. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. So yeah, this country have laden itself with thick debt and with stolen resources of other countries. Okay. See, China natural gas imports soar. A chill has descended on Europe. Small headers tried to lure Iran. Here's why it failed. It failed ultimately because the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. He turneth it whithersoever he will. Okay. We see Russian military reports new gains in Ukraine. UK targets Russian diplomats. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Let me see. Trump wants to send kill teams to Mexico. Now, why would you send kill teams to Mexico? Okay. Showing you that old hatred that Esau had toward his own brother is still there. Like, what? Why are you sending kill teams to Mexico? Look into this, which ultimately is judgment of the Lord, because we know that Issachar is heavy into idol worship. Okay, they worshiping Semiramis. They're down there worshiping Mary, Santa Maria. They're heavy into worshiping Cesare Borgia, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. They're heavy into that, worshiping heavy Jesus. Okay. So it says Trump wants to send kill teams into Mexico. The presidential hopeful reportedly plans to covertly send U.S. special forces across the border to assassinate narcos. Okay, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob. You see, so that hatred is still there. Republican presidential front runner Donald Trump would send U.S. Special Forces to fight drug cartels in neighboring Mexico if he returns to the White House, Rolling Stone magazine reported on Tuesday, citing forces, which the majority of those drug cartels are wicked. Okay, they're heavy into adultery down there, murder, kidnapping, human and sex trafficking. Okay, and there's a lot of gang wars that go on between those cartels down there. You know, there's people who go down into Mexico. They might go there to participate in a concert. They might go there to participate in a I don't know, maybe just go down there to sightsee, and then they'll get snatched up by a cartel, and then get chopped up into pieces, or if not, they'll be sold. You know, and they do this to their own people, and the scriptures speak about that. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, okay, if he be found in his hand, shall be put to death. So, what do you think the Lord is doing? He's using his sword, which is Esau Edom, to basically execute judgment on Jake. Okay, let's get that real quick. Okay, let's type in Bible, and he that stealeth a a man and selleth him. Okay, KJV. I notice in Exodus, I can't remember all these scriptures, so it's always good just to live search. Okay, Exodus 21 verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, ain't that what the cartels do down there? Ain't that what those drug cartels are doing? They're stealing people from their own nation and selling on human trafficking rings. And this happens damn near every day. So you got these wicked ass drug cartels, which is ran by Issachar predominantly. Where they're stealing women of our nation, they're stealing children of our nation, men of our nation, men of our nation, hog tying them, and then basically selling them overseas, making huge amounts of money. The women obviously are sold on sex trafficking rings. Children are sold either on slave trafficking rings or sex trafficking rings. And men are obviously sold on slave trafficking rings to go work in salt mines, or to work in coal mines, or different type of mines where jewelry is at. Okay, like that one movie. I forgot the name of that movie. Um, I think it's called Blood Diamond. That movie is real. Okay, in that movie, they were showing people who were kidnapped from their native lands and was basically being sold to heathens to basically work in mines where they had to dig for diamonds and rubies and crystals and all that other shit. No, well, not shit, because those are precious stones. But you get what I'm saying, right? So that's what the drug cartel is doing down there. Okay, so it says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. So the word of the Lord don't go out void. Isaiah 55 verse 11. So shall my word be that go forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall prosper in the thing whereto I have sent it, and it prosper in the thing whereto I please. So Republican presidential front runner Donald Trump would send U.S. special forces to fight drug cartel in neighboring Mexico if he returns to White House. So that's the Lord using his sword on the left hand side to basically to deal with what you wicked uh northern tribes down there in Mexico. Okay. According to people who have reportedly discussed the matter with Trump, the former U.S. president has privately endorsed the idea of covertly deploying, with or without the Mexican government's consent, special ops units that would be tasked with missions such as assassinating the leaders and top enforcers of Mexico's powerful drug cartels. Yeah, because Mexican drug cartels, okay, they're known for having guns down there, many different type of guns, some explosives, and all you got to do is just go to Google, or you can go to Bing, okay, Google, Bing, whatever, okay, go to images and just type in, you know, hey, yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Demon Slayer anime, so yeah, I have pictures of him here, okay, that guy right there. That's my most favorite Demon Slayer character. His name is Tanjiro. If you watch the anime Demon Slayer, you'd understand. Let's type in Mexican drug cartel guns. Just type that in. Okay. I mean, what is this? Look at all these. Mexican government hack reveals military sold arms. Who do you think they were selling arms to? And this looks like a member of a. Look at that. Where do Mexican drug cartels get their guns? Showing you that these motherfuckers got guns. Okay? And whenever they go to war against each other, this is what they're using. I mean, don't get me wrong. In Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, right? The Lord said, thine brother's eye, meaning his mind, would be evil toward his brother. Okay? A Mexican militia battling the Michoacan drug cartel has American roots. You see? And there's a lot of people who hate the Mexican drug cartel because, again, the kidnappings, you know, if the civilians don't pay a certain amount of money to these drug cartels, they kidnap family members. They basically behead them live on they behead them on live stream and then send it to their family. This is what goes on in Mexico, all because they didn't want to pay a fine to the cartels. You're going to kidnap a woman's husband, right? And then you're going to kidnap the woman. You're going to deliberately rape her in front of her husband. You know, and then while you're raping her, you're gonna take the sharpest machete you can find and behead him right in front of his wife. So the Mexican drug cartel is wicked. And they all deal with drugs down there. There's a reason why they are known as a drug cartel. Okay? They're down there shipping out weed, crack, cocaine, heroin, opium. So these Mexican drug cartels are wicked. You know, beheading gang rivals, and this the scriptures speak about how you're not supposed to murder your brother, but they're down there doing it. What is this? Leaked photo purportedly shows gun-toting female assassins for Mexican drug cartels. Goodness gracious, man. And that's why we need Yahweh to return, man, because our people are just wicked. Mexican drug cartels moving deep into USA. Okay? Moving deep into USA. So I mean, I don't need do I really need the show anymore? Anyways, now you see why, Trump says that he gonna send the special ops in there. But basically, and he's not really doing it because he care about the civilians down in Mexico and blah blah. No, he really wants to do it because he hates his brother Jacob. So let's see. Hundreds of teachers face acts over EU state language law. We're not going to get deep into that, okay? Okay, let's see. Because of NATO membership, Turkish party is. Let's see. We are in danger because of NATO membership. Turkish Patriotic Party is sounding the alarm. Don't think I'm gonna get too much into that. India accuses Canada of glorifying violence. Okay, just more rumors. Message to the West. What's behind Russia's tactical nuclear drill? Okay, and nuclear talks have been one of the main talks. You know, NATO to rule out boots on ground Ukraine. So let's go to SputnikNews.com, which they've changed their title, which I'm not surprised. Okay, okay. So this is another alternative news media website. Okay, so let's see what kind of news we can find here. Okay, Russia China 2024 trade growth overshadows relevant China US figures. US defenseless against Russian hypersonic missiles and Iranian drones. Okay, and that is scriptural, right? Because this country is known as what? The city having neither walls. Let's get that real quick. Ezekiel. Let me see. There's Ezekiel 38. I will go to their ease. Yeah, this country is at ease, right? See, okay, so this is Ezekiel 38, verse 8. I'm going to get straight to the point. After many days, thou shalt be visited. In the latter years, thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely. Thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and all thy bands and many people with thee. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. It shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind. Hmm? Okay? Shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. So let's see what that evil thought is. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of walled villages because, yeah, the U.S. likes, I mean, physically, this country do not have walls around this country. Okay, no, it do not. And basically, the only the only systems, or may I say, the only weapon systems that this country have that can act as walls to protect this country, the only weapon systems is um America's missile defense system. Okay, and we know that that is not going to protect America against a nuclear war, because we know that according to Bible prophecy, the Spirit of the Lord is going to be in those nuclear warheads. Okay. And I believe that's in Revelation where it speaks about an arrow that fell upon another arrow or something like that, but it had no effect. So not even America's missile defense system is going to protect it from a nuclear war. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. Which the only walls or bars or gates that America have really is its nuclear defense system. Nuclear defense missiles. U.S. defenseless against Russian hypersonic missiles and Iranian drones. Explosive Department of Defense testimony. Okay, as you see right there, it says the crisis in Ukraine and escalating tensions in the Middle East have demonstrated that the U.S. $886 billion defense budget has not translated into real world capabilities on the ground. Now, an explosive verbal exchange on Capitol Hill, has revealed that North America's skies are defenseless against not only Russian, but even Iranian missiles. Okay, so Russia China 2024 trade growth overshadows relevant China US figures. Russian economy under sanctions. And where do you think those sanctions are coming from? US led Astro Knight 2024 military drill saber rattle near Russia's border. So once again, the US is holding drills near Russia's border. Not surprised to hear that. Okay, Belarus starts surprise inspection of non-strategic nuclear arms. Yemen's Houthis ramp up attacks on merchant ships. Okay, Pentagon takes into account risks of its weapons ending in okay. See, U.S. still can't handle high-speed California rail project mocked as boondoggle. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. I pray and hope that I was able to keep you brothers informed through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. With that, I'm going to say, Shalom, is on to the next one.